Hey there, this is John with Sir Winston Honeybees. It is Monday, February 16th, 2026, and it's about 47 degrees outside. It's been several years since my last video, and I haven't done them because I wanted to focus on the beekeeping and try and get some honey. And I want to report that I haven't produced much honey here in the past couple of years. So I decided, let's document the beekeeping again, and also because some of my students keep pestering me to restart the channel and put some videos back up. So here we are doing some beekeeping again. So let's get out to the apiary, and what we're going to do today is we're just going to, since it is kind of cold, it's about 47-48 degrees, but it's sunny, so we're going to pop open the tops of the hives, see if there's life in there, and hopefully there is, and then we're going to, if we need to, add some food. So that's kind of what we're planning on doing today. All right, so let's go back to the hives and see what we got. All right, so let's walk back there, see what's going on. Hoping that we'll see some bees flying today, since temperatures are, in the 40s, but it's sunny. It came out a few days ago, and I saw some. Oh, you gotta have that if you have bees, especially if they're living in a neighborhood where there's kids. But a couple of days ago, I came out and I saw bees flying, and we'll see what we got. All right, it might not be any bees, it might be dead, but we'll know when we open the tops for sure. All right, here we are. I don't see anything right here on this hive, and also not seeing any bees flying out of this hive right now. So not a very good sign, but let's see what happens when we open them up. I'll tell you a funny story. I was out here like last week because it was warm again, and my neighbor kid was out here with his dad, and there were a bunch of dead bees around the ground over here. So I picked one up and I said, here, take this home and take a look at it. Got a magnifying glass, etc., etc. Took it home, and the bee came back to life. It was crazy. So you just never know. It was just dormant in the snow apparently, but not dead for sure. That was a little strange. All right, so here's what I do, right? Since I have these bee barns, I got these caps that were made for me by my friend Joe. Precisely cut them. This is called a quilt box, and the burlap, the purpose of it is to absorb the humidity. And now we're going to see whether or not there's life. Here we have sugar, and the sugar, and look at that cluster of bees. There's a lot of bees over there, and they are alive eating that sugar. So I think for now I'm just going to leave it as is. See, we've got the fondant, sugar, we've got plenty there for now, and we've got a cluster of live bees. So let's take a look at this other hive. No bees outside, but we did see some bees last week, so same deal. We got the cap. Again, these are bee barns. I'm actually transitioning out of bee barns this year to standard Langstroth. They're just easier to work with, and there's a lot more stuff that you can buy for your Langstroth hives. So I'm going back to Langstroth. But all right, again, quilt box. Now we're going to see how the bees look in the sugar. And there's a nice cluster of bees. We still have 6 patties of sugar, and so we've got life. I think we're good. All right, folks, well, what do we know? We know that there are bees, and there's bees alive in both hives. How strong the hives are right now, I can't really tell, but I do know that there's a cluster of bees feeding on the fondant that I put in there at the beginning of the winter season. They had plenty of, winter stores available to them. They've probably gone through that. That's where they're on the sugar. We're in mid-February. As we get into March, that queen, if she's still alive, she might start laying eggs. We'll see. We don't want to rush her or anything like that, but if the weather gets nice into the 60s or 70s, definitely we'll open those tops and start looking at those bees and see if the queen's active. and see the true strength of the hive. So we'll see, but we do have sugar, we have live bees, and that seems to be, for at least for now, it seems to be the battle. So yeah, so hopefully we'll have some good weather here in the near future where I can come back out, get the channel back up and running. Be sure to subscribe and like my videos, and until then, I'm John with Sir Winston Honeybees, and happy bees, everybody.